I don't really need a new friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone who can play though, wanna hang with me.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing some tier ranking, and there's just gonna be some book tropes. Excuse the noise in the background. I am babysitting my niece and nephew. They're old enough to be relatively unattended. The first tier we have is God tier. Self-explanatory. There is nothing higher than this tier. The second option we have is It Slaps. It is amazing. It's fantastic. But it's not quite God tier yet, but it is amazing. The next one we have is It's I. Like, I could do with or without. Like, I don't have a favoritism to it, but like, maybe in some circumstances, it's done really well and I like it. And is, it's not my favorite. It's not an immediate no, but it's definitely not my favorite. And finally, threw up in my mouth. Self-explanatory. This is disgusting. I don't like it. Alrighty, so sensible one loses it. I love this. It Slaps. Why it's not God tier? I think sometimes it's overdone or it's not done right. Because when I say loses it, I mean loses it. Somebody else has to bring him back from the brink. And a lot of times they bring themselves back. And I don't like that because they didn't really lose it. They had a momentary lapse in judgment. And that's different to me. Next up, we have enemies to lovers. It's just I. It's just I. There are some circumstances where it's done really well and I love it, but it's, for me, I'm such a revenge-oriented person when it comes to something like this that I really don't like too much. Just like if your enemies be enemies and like best each other, that's just a me thing. This next one, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for, and it is bully to lovers. I hate this trope because for me, it just like re-solidifies that idea that if somebody is picking on you, if a guy is picking on you and you're a girl, they obviously must like you. I don't like it. It's gross. I've read a few stories where it's bullies to lovers, and I'm not a fan. It kind of ruins the story for me because all of that poor behavior was just excused, and on very, very few of them have I actually seen a genuine apology. And those were books where it was like they met up years later, and they're like, I was a stupid kid kind of thing, which valid. Kids be doing stupid stuff. We all did stupid stuff as children, but in the span of that time, I don't think it's a good trope for me. Love triangle. In all honesty, it's alright. There are circumstances where I absolutely love the trope, and then it got overdone to the point where everybody was doing it, I think, just to have the selling angle. Like, I remember when Twilight came out and everybody loved this triangle. Like, it was fun. It was not new, but like, it was very, very popularized at this time. And then The Hunger Games was supposed to be like the next popular book to movie that came out. And they tried to feed this love triangle with Gale and Peeta and Katniss, and in my opinion, I don't think she ever actually liked Gale like that. And and I'm a friends to lovers kind of person too, and in this era, I did want her to end up with Gale only because I liked their teamwork that they initially had. And there was already just like, they already knew each other. That was like her original, not love interest, but like partner, I guess, just best friend. So it's I I don't hate it, and unless it's done really badly, and I don't love it unless it's done really amazingly. The point of that Hunger Games story was I don't think that was really a love triangle, because Katniss was real life just trying to survive, and Peeta was being a lovesick puppy, and Gale was just being a jerk, in all honesty. Alrighty. I hate everyone but you. This trope right here, it slaps. I don't care. No argument, no debate. It slaps. I like the idea of somebody finding that somebody else. It's not even the acceptance of like this one person, I hate everybody but you, but like when you're somebody who doesn't make very many friends and you don't hang out with too many people, when you find that one person or those few couple people that you genuinely enjoy being around and you could just be around them all the time and you can just do nothing with them and hang out and it's chill, that's it. But I'm also thinking of this in the platonic and the romantic way. So like when they're best friends and like they just pick them. I don't know how many people have seen Hunter x Hunter. If you're on my channel, I highly recommend it. I will probably bring this up a lot. But Hunter x Hunter, Killua and Gon, I don't care. I hate everyone but you. Like, Killua, real life, found his group of people. He said, this is it. This is mine. And he gets so jealous when Gon befriends or hangs out with anybody new. So this slaps, and in that situation, that specifically done situation, because that one could be construed as either romantic or platonic, depending on if you ship them or not. So, in that particular circumstance, it's God tier. I don't care. I love that. It has been done very wrong to the point where they're just like a douche to all of their friends and like no apologies, nothing, like they just like aren't gonna change. And in that scenario, I don't like it as much. I like it when they're still open, they still care about the other person, all their feelings and everything, but like they're definitely like that's their person. They pick that person over anybody. Like sure, like in the Killua example again, sure he would help his other friends, but I honestly don't think he'd have to hesitate if like it came down to Gon versus anybody, like even his own family, Gon comes before them. That's God tier. That's when it's God tier. Alrighty. Morally gray hero. It slaps. It slaps. And I'm putting it here because even though I like it, I love it actually, it can be done wrong. We're gonna move on to Amnesia. I feel like the morally gray hero is kind of like self-explanatory because I love a morally gray character regardless. And Amnesia, we're gonna come back to that one because I'm not 100%. One bed trope, just I don't like forced proximity for the most part, especially when it's supposed to be a romantic way, because it gives me ick vibes. However, if they obviously both like each other and just kind of like shy and nervous, that's one thing. But if it's like they're still on the I hate you level and they have to share a bed instead of one person just taking the floor, I don't like it. Those are my thoughts. Parent, child, no blood. Okay, I just had to shorten this so it'll fit on here nicely. But that's not my child, but that's my child. God tier. No arguments. None. Think Spider-Man, Tony Stark. Perfect. Chef's kiss. I should have added that as a tier here, but I didn't. God tier. That's it. Enemies have to fight together. Don't care. God tier. I absolutely love it when people have to put their differences aside and they're like, I literally hate you. And it's even better when they still hate each other by the end of it. Alrighty. Second chance romance. I know I'm getting judgment on that, but it's gross. If it didn't work out the first time, it's not gonna work out the second time unless one of y'all went to therapy. Okay, y'all gotta figure that out. On that note, forced marriage is disgusting. Don't care. I hate it. It's gross. I hate that you'll fall in love with them eventually. Like, that gets used a lot. Like, when a parent's like, oh, you have to marry this person because XYZ. And they're like, oh, you'll learn to love them. No. 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 I don't like it. Soulmates. Platonic soulmates. God tier. Regular soulmates. It's I. It's just I. It's not even just I. It's eh. It's eh. So, on that note, knowing what most people think soulmates refer to, I should have added an option for that. Platonic soulmates, like where they're just best friends, like there's nothing coming between that. God tier. Morally gray villain, God tier. No objections, no debate. I will hear nothing else on the matter. The Chosen One is one so many people have a problem with, and I don't know why. Like, I know why, because it was really overdone. But it slaps, and I don't care. I like the Chosen One. Forced proximity. I thought I did that one already. I guess not. Forced proximity is gross, and I'll hear nothing else on the matter. Thank you. Unexpected pregnancy is gross. Ew. I hate it. I know so many people like it, and I know so many people hate it, but it's gross. The Lost Princess, it really depends how well it's done for me, because there's like, sometimes it's done really well, and I like the way Tangled did it, to bring up a really popular Disney movie. Tangled was fun. Discovery was fun. The way she had just no idea the whole movie. That was all fun. And then all like the little things that were dropped there, and the crown when she was looking at herself in the mirror. I like that one. That was done really well. I've read books where it's not, and movies where it's not done so well, and it's like obvious. It's a little too obvious, but yeah. Fated is I don't hate it. I don't love it. In very rare circumstances, it's done with a special kind of finesse that makes it an amazing read, but mostly no. Friends to lovers, I don't care. It slaps. It slaps. When it's done right. When it's done right, just to preface that, because if it makes sense, like if you can feel it, like if you've seen Tall Girl, they've been friends for a while. I didn't like that. There was zero romance. There was zero connection. It didn't make sense for me. And that's the difference. It's got to make sense. Main character was the villain. God tier. They had no idea they were the villain, because it brings in one of my favorite ideas about perspective and how we're all the heroes of our own story. So when you find out at the end, like either they didn't know, or they heard the villain that they didn't know was the villain's story and decided to help, thinking they were doing the right thing. Because everybody thinks they're their own hero. Everybody thinks that the person stopping them from reaching their goal is their villain. So I love that perspective. Note. I think I read it in a book on writing, like forever ago, or in a story or something. Part of a secret, anything, it slaps. I like it. Like Percy Jackson, when he finds out he's the child of God. He's a demigod. That. Nothing more needs to be said on that note. Amnesia. It's aight. It's aight because it can be amazing or it can be trash, and I stand by that. Heist. It slaps. Don't care. I love heist stories. Heist Society was one of my favorites, as well as the Gallagher Girl series. I think those are done really well and in a fun way, where you kind of don't know what's going to happen. Like, you can kind of guess, but like then it happens and you're like, oh yeah, I did know that. Or like, I didn't see that coming, because it just kind of happens. Because all the planning happens outside of the story, but it also makes sense looking back. Like when you go back, you're like, those are all the clues. Got it. So I like that. And finally, on this list, protective older siblings. Protective older sibling-like person is a god tier. And I love that. If you haven't been able to tell by this list, I did intentionally pick several of them that I like, and then I try to keep it a nice good balance. But these are my notes. I will leave the link to this tier thing. I don't know if it'll let me make it public for other people to use. I'll leave the link below. Otherwise, these are my thoughts on some popular book and movie tropes, and that'll be all. See you guys next time.
Looking for someone who can play though, wanna hang with me. I'm not really looking for a friend, so spend your time with me. Looking for someone not afraid of